Hi there, welcome to Dhijah's Unfiltered. Today's conversation is not an easy one. We're reflecting on the life, the loss, and the complicated aftermath surrounding one of Ghana's greatest musical icons, Daddy Lumba. Born Charles Kojo Fosu, he passed away on 26 July 2025 at age 60 at the Bank Hospital in Accra. When the news broke, it felt like a sudden silence in the middle of a beautiful song. For decades, his voice had been woven into the fabrics of our lives. Weddings, funerals, parties, heartbreaks, quiet late-night reflections. His music didn't just entertain us, it accompanied us. So when he finally confirmed his passing through their lawyers, it truly felt like the closing of a powerful chapter in Ghanaian high life. The love that followed after the announcement was overwhelming. Tributes poured from fellow musicians, political leaders, and fans across generations. Many described him as the greatest in 100 years. And in that moment of collective grief, it didn't feel like an exaggeration. His lyrics spoke directly to everyday joys and struggles of ordinary Ghanaians. He had a way of telling our stories with a rhythm and honesty, and somehow making us dance through them. But in the months since his passing, another story has unfolded, one that has been far more painful to watch. Family disagreement has spilled into the public space, turning what should have been a season of unified mourning into a time of visible division. Grief is never simple, especially when it surrounds someone with large blended family and a towering public legacy. Almost immediately after his death, tensions began to surface over who would lead the funeral arrangements, who is recognized as a legal wife, and how best to honor him in a way that respects both tradition and his personal wishes. On one side is Madam Akosia Sewa, who has long presented herself as his legal wife, alongside her children and supporters, including evangelist Papashi. They express feeling sidelined in key decisions. On the other side, the family head, Ebusiapenyi Kofi Wusu, together with other close relatives, including references to Priscilla Ofori, widely known as Odobroni, proceeded with arrangements they believed were in the broader family's best interest. What followed were court filings, public statements, and growing tension. The funeral held in Kumasi on 13 December 2025 became a flashpoint. One faction moved forward with the rites on that day, a moment meant purely for farewell and celebration. The other side chose to boycott, insisting that matters needed to be fully resolved legally and traditionally before any final burial. And that's what makes this especially heartbreaking. At the center of all this are people grieving the same man, a husband, a father, a brother, an uncle. Beyond the headlines and legal documents are real emotions. An aunt from the family recently spoke about a deep emotional and spiritual toll, the pain of not being allowed to view the body, the feeling that certain customs were not properly observed. His elder sister, Ernestina Fosu, also stepped forward on several occasions, addressing concerns and clarifying the family's position with calm strength. Now, as we sit here in February 2026, the situation remains delicate. The December funeral did take place, and he was laid to rest amid controversy. However, a second celebration of life event organized by the faction connected to Madam Akosia Sewa and Papashi is still scheduled for 28th and 29th March 2026 in Accra. Ernestina Fosu recently stated clearly that there is no court injunction preventing this gathering, urging the public to stop spreading misinformation and allow the family to mourn in peace. At the same time, another group has appealed publicly to the Asante-Hene, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and even to the president, calling for intervention. They describe the earlier burial as inappropriate and are asking for full traditional rites that reflect Daddy Lumba's cultural significance and stature. These are not abstract disputes, they are deeply human ones. When someone so prominent passes away without a publicly known will, when there are multiple relations relationships and children across different homes and even countries, the emotional and legal complexities can become overwhelming. Grief becomes entangled with questions of inheritance, recognition, and respect. It is painful, it is messy, it is sad, but sadly, it is playing out under the watchful eyes of the entire nation. Yet, through all this, one thing remains untouched: the power of his music. His songs still echo through the churches, living rooms, weddings, radio stations. Young artists continue to draw inspiration from his sound. Longtime fans still sing every lyric by heart. No controversy case can silence that legacy. Perhaps the greatest tribute we can hope for now is reconciliation, a quiet meeting behind closed doors, elders stepping in, voices lowering, a shared decision to honor him in a way that brings healing instead of headlines. A man who united millions on the dance floor deserves unity in his memory. To every member of the Fosu family, the wives, the children, the siblings, the extended relatives, our thoughts remain with you. Grief is already heavy without the added burden of public scrutiny. May you find comfort in one another, in cherished memories, and in timeless gifts Charles Kojo Fosu left for us all. Rest well, Daddy Lumba. Your voice still sings in our hearts. Thank you for spending time with me today. I don't take this lightly. If this conversation gave you something to think about, I would appreciate you subscribing to Dhijah's Unfiltered and clicking the bell notification icon so you can stay connected to future discussions. Until next time, stay informed, stay reflective.